All right, so for the literature to make sense in this class that we read, you have to have an idea of what the geography looks like. So we're going to be creating a map of everything that's going to be useful for this class. It's a lot of information at one time, but once we create our map, the idea is study it, and we will be taking a quiz on this information. Okay, so first off, the United Kingdom, if you take a look here, is made up of these five countries. We have England, we have Wales, we have Scotland, we have Northern Ireland, and we have the Republic of Ireland. Now, the Republic of Ireland is actually not part of the UK anymore. That's a history lesson for another class, though. This bottom portion here is going to be France. So notice, though, that in a story, if they say they went from England to Scotland, depending on where you're at, if you're up at the northern part, that could be a short walk. Most people were walking around 30 miles from the stories that we read a day. Okay, locations 7 through 9 here. Number 7 is London. It's the largest city in the UK. It's got about 9 million people. Like most major cities, they're located on either a river or a bay. So you'll notice that London is actually sitting on the Thames River. And you'll notice here that Thames, it looks like it's pronounced Thames, but it's Thames. And number 8 is Cornwall. So this portion down here in the southwestern area of England is where the King Arthur tales originated from. Number 10 is Stonehenge. It's one of the earliest known monuments, and much of how it was created is actually still a mystery today. Number 11 is Stratford, and this is the home of Shakespeare. Number 12 is Hadrian's Wall, and you can see the image here. Hadrian's Wall, it basically separates England from Scotland, and it's as far north as the Roman Empire actually went. So the Romans stopped here. Number 13 is Dublin. This is our first Ireland location, and it is the capital and largest city in Ireland. Number 14 is the Cliffs of Dover, and that's located at the southeast portion of England. And England has not successfully been invaded since 1066. It's largely due to the mountains that guards their coastal borders. So check this mountain out. If you came over by boat, you'd have no chance of getting up there. So that was a big defense for why England has not been successfully invaded for so long. Number 15 is Hastings. And once again, in 1066, William the Conqueror invaded England. Hasn't been invaded since then. He came over from Normandy, France. And so what was happening is at this point in time, the noble people were speaking French. And that's why English today has a lot of French words in its vocabulary. This is where you're going to see words where we might have two words for something, such as cow would be English, and the French brought over like boeuf or beef. And number 16 is the English Channel. And this is just a body of water down here that separates England from France. And some people have actually made the swim. It's about 21 miles if you want to give it a shot. Number 17 is Canterbury, and this is the location that is known for Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, which we'll be reading some. You can see the image. Number 18 is the Irish Sea, and this just separates Ireland from England. Number 19 is Liverpool. This is a major city that's located on the Irish Sea, and you can see Liverpool is located over here. Like I said before, most major cities are located on a body of water. Number 20, give that one a shot. See if you can pronounce it correctly. Laughenhangel ar Arth. I probably still didn't say it correctly, but this is a Welsh word. And this is an example of what happens when an English or when a language doesn't get touched. What's happening here is between Wales and England is there's a mountain chain. And so when people were coming over from different areas, they usually did not go across these mountains. So Wales, they speak Welsh. It doesn't have the mixture of all the language that we have from speaking English. It's untouched. Number 21 is the Orkney Islands. This is going to be important for when we read Frankenstein. Number 22, wrapping up here. 22, we have the Lindisfarne Islands, and it's an island off the north coast of England. And if you check it out over here, what was going on there is when the Vikings first came over, this was their first stop that they landed at, and they just basically massacred everyone when they landed. Number 23 is the Edinburgh Castle. This is a major landmark. If you were to Google Scotland at some point in time, this image would come up. Number 24 is Dunsinane Hill. This is going to be important for when we read Macbeth. This is around the area that the story of Macbeth and where he was born takes place. And then finally, number 25 is Manchester. It's another major city in England.